Everyone's social media avatar awakens into an extraordinary power. Some people use a superhero as their avatar. After awakening, they transform into living light, protecting the people around them. Others use a blaze-born warrior. After awakening, they can tear through anything in their path. Some favor cute pet avatars. After awakening, they can summon ferocious beasts to fight alongside them. But others use landscape photos or wild predators as their avatars, and those always give rise to horrifying monsters, demonic spirits that bring ruin to the world. My name is Ethan Cole. In my previous life, I never gave my avatar a second thought. Not before the collapse came. I was just jumping on a meme trend at the time, so I threw up a silly reaction image. A cartoon figure clutching a basketball, doing a ridiculous little dance. Then the blood moon rose. While everyone around me was awakening with world-shattering abilities, I awakened as a dancing chicken. All I could do was cluck and shuffle through some ridiculous choreography. I had absolutely no way to defend myself. In a dying world where lives were worth less than dust, I lived worse than a stray dog. Each day, I had only 2 hours of pale daylight to venture outside. Right under the noses of the monsters, I scavenged for rotting scraps to eat. In the end, all it took was searching the rubble for a single piece of bread. I stumbled into Marcus Vale, the school bully, awakened and more dangerous than ever. He threw a casual energy blast in my direction, and just like that, my life was over. That agony, the feeling of my body being torn apart, is still carved into the depths of my soul. But when I open my eyes again, I find myself back in my dim little rental apartment. The clock on the wall ticks steadily. It is 8 p.m. on February 28th. The collapse, the event that will reshape all of human history, is just 4 hours away. I bolt upright, gulping in deep lungfuls of air. My heart is hammering in my chest. I know what this is. I have been reborn. And this time, I will never let that pathetic tragedy play out again. Every second counts. I am a professional digital artist. This life, I hold the brush that can rewrite my fate. Ordinary people are stuck with whatever images they can find online, but I can create the most powerful avatar in existence with my own 2 hands. I throw off the covers, shove the instant noodle cup off my desk, fire up my computer, and launch my professional drawing software. In my mind, countless forbidden mythological beings begin to surface. If I am going to draw something, I will draw a power this world was never meant to contain. I plan to fuse together the absolute pinnacle of mythological power. First, Hongjun, the primordial creator god who split chaos and forged the heavens. Second, the one who commands all demons. MANHWA, the demon sovereign whose name shakes the 9 dark realms. Third, Zhurong, the supreme ancestor of all dragons, lord of the 4 seas. But something still feels missing. One final edge of pure destructive force. So I decide to add the greatest fusion warrior ever conceived in anime. Blazegore, the ultimate fusion of the 2 mightiest blazeborn warriors to ever exist. I am going to stitch all 4 of these dimension-shattering beings into a single avatar. No one has ever attempted anything so forbidden. My fingers fly across the drawing tablet. As the lines interweave, the silhouette of a man in flowing white robes slowly takes shape, commanding, unearthly in presence. Behind him, countless shadowy demons howl in the darkness. Beneath his feet coils a massive golden dragon. Around his body swirls the blue-gold aura that only blazeborn warriors carry. I pour myself into every detail, sweat soaking through my shirt, not allowing myself a single moment of carelessness, because I know this is more than just a drawing. This is my only foothold in the broken world to come. Time slips by fast. It is nearly 11 p.m., 1 hour left before the collapse. I let out a long, slow breath. I hit save, staring at the avatar on my screen, vivid, imposing, radiating an almost tangible pressure. I feel a tremor move through my very soul. This image is entirely original. It is the one and only supreme existence in this world. I send it to my phone immediately and swap every social media avatar in the shortest time possible. I am still sipping water, trying to calm down, when my phone buzzes. It is a message from someone I rarely talk to. He wants to know why I suddenly changed my avatar to something so over the top, at this hour of all times. I look at his avatar, an ordinary photo of everyday life, and my chest tightens. In my previous life, people like him barely survived the first wave. Most became monster feed before dawn. I hesitate, then type a reply anyway. If the sky changes color tonight, lock every door and window, get to the innermost room you have, and do not move. I close the chat without waiting for his response. His confusion is no longer my concern. I stand at the window looking out over Dragon City, the crown jewel of Dragon Nation. Neon lights still blaze across the skyline. Yet in just a few minutes, this place will become a living hell. As the final 30 seconds count down, I find myself unnervingly calm. A person who has already died once has very little left to fear. At the stroke of midnight on March 1st, a dark crimson bolt of lightning tears the black sky apart, followed immediately by a thunderclap that feels like it could shatter eardrums. It is as if the death knell of the world is ringing from the clouds above. In the darkness of the night sky, an utterly unnatural blood moon rises from nowhere. Its light is as thick and red as fresh blood, and it swallows the entire earth in an instant. Countless people are jolted awake from their sleep by the eerie disturbance. On instinct, they reach for their phones to find out what is happening, but the moment their screens light up, a blinding radiance erupts from within. For those with landscape avatars, the screen cracks open like a bleeding wound. From the thick red mist crawl grotesque, ghoulish monsters, their jaws yawning open wide. Before their owners can react, they are devoured whole. Screams rise and fall through every floor of every apartment building. Those with wild predator avatars have it even worse. The demons crawl out grinning, tearing into their owners like a casual snack. Flesh and bone, consumed without ceremony, within mere minutes the entire world collapses into ruin. Sitting at my desk, I feel a savage pain tear through my skull. My vision blurs. A terrifying alien will descends into my mind, and then I black out completely. When consciousness returns, I find myself adrift in a vast and formless void. There is no gravity here, no sense of direction, only an endless stream of stars turning slowly in the dark. I look up, and the sight before me steals every word from my mouth. Standing before me are 4 colossal statues, each one reaching from the ground to the heavens. Each radiates a pressure so immense it dims the stars around them. They are the 4 beings I drew into my avatar, because I drew them myself. They look more real and vivid than any mythological description ever captured, and the pressure rolling off them is beyond anything words can measure, just as the crushing weight of it all becomes too much to bear as my very soul begins to crack under the pressure. A warm and enormous force surges into my body from the void. Every inch of me, drained and hollow a moment ago, explodes with astonishing vitality. I understand, this is my awakening. I walk toward the first statue. It is the figure of a warrior with coiling, iron-hard muscle. Blazagor, the fusion warrior, radiating an inexhaustible will to fight. The instant my hand touches the base of the statue, the entire void fills with the roar of a blazeborn warrior in transformation. Golden light floods in like a burst dam, pouring into every part of my body. I can feel every single cell in my body undergoing a savage transformation. It is the sensation of power so absolute it could shatter a mountain with a single punch. In an instant, my hair blazes gold. Blue arcs of electricity crackle and snap around my entire body. The sensation of power surging through me is so overwhelming I want to throw my head back and roar. And when the power transfer is complete, the statue erupts with a thunderous crack and dissolves into a shower of golden dust, merging into my soul. I do not slow down. I walk on toward the statue of Hongjun, robed in white as pure snow. He is not the imposing, rough-hewn figure the legends describe. Instead, he radiates a quiet, effortless divinity, authority that needs no display of anger to command respect. I press my hand gently to the statue. An ancient, boundless energy sweeps through me instantly. The force that once split void from form at the dawn of creation. My bones are tempered to the hardness of divine iron. My body's defenses reach a level no imagination could have prepared me for. Even a heavy battle tank driving straight into me would likely shatter on impact. The euphoria of feeling my power multiply tenfold, and then some, is intoxicating. Strangely, the statue of Hongjun does not dissolve like the first one. It simply stands there in silence, as if deeper power still waits within it for me to uncover. I steady my breathing, and turn to face the statue of Minghuang, sovereign of all demons. Dark energy coils around him like living shadow. Behind him looms what feels like an infinite abyss. The instant my fingers make contact, a streak of deep violet-black light drives itself between my brows. Deep within my soul sea, a long spear slowly materializes, its entire length wrapped in black lightning. The Chaos Spear, legendary weapon said to be capable of felling even the mightiest of sages. Though I can only tap into a fraction of its power for now, that fraction is more than enough to sweep aside every low-level spirit in this early stage of the collapse. Knowing I hold such a weapon gives me a confidence that strips away every last trace of fear I have for this dying world. Finally, I approach the ancient statue of Zhurong. 2 golden dragons spiral around it, crying out in long, resonant tones. I take a deep breath and place my hand upon it. A soaring dragon's cry shatters the silence of the void. The translucent form of a small dragon drives straight into my chest. I try to draw on the power within it, and a pair of majestic golden dragon horns push through my forehead. A magnificent, battle-hardened suit of golden dragon armor encases my entire body in an instant. In my right hand materializes a golden dragon sword radiating sovereign authority. In this moment, I feel like a true ruler descending into the mortal world. With 4 divine powers surging through me at once, I have gone from an ordinary artist to something that walks like a god. Just as I am about to push further into the limits of this power, the void begins to convulse violently. Every shape and shadow fractures and reassembles. A tremendous force seizes my consciousness and wrenches it back to reality. I snap my eyes open and find myself still seated in my old wooden chair. Blood-red moonlight filters through the gaps in the window frame, falling across my face. It gives the room an eerie, otherworldly cast. The television is still on, its picture dissolving into static from the interference, but through the noise I can still make out the anchor's voice, trembling with barely contained terror. A breaking news report is in progress. All residents are urged to seal their doors and windows and under no circumstances open them. If you find that your avatar has awakened with any kind of special ability, please, only if you can do so safely, help those around you. I glance at the wall clock. It is already 2 in the morning. The screams outside, anguished, inhuman, have not faded at all. If anything, they have grown sharper. I can even hear the sound of heavy claws, dragging slowly across the concrete walls outside. I look down at my hands. The power to move mountains still surges beneath my skin. I know this is no illusion. In my previous life, the name Ethan Cole stood for weakness and death, but in this life, it will become the deepest nightmare every demon and monster has ever known. I walk to the window and look down at the monsters tearing and feeding in the streets below. The corner of my mouth pulls into a cold smile. Since heaven has given me a second chance, then the rules of this dying world will be mine to rewrite. Those who humiliated me in my previous life, and every demon that dares to devour humanity. Are you ready to face the one who has stitched 4 supreme gods into a single existence? I reach back and grip the golden dragon sword shimmering at the edge of visibility. I push open the door to hell. The hallway reeks of blood. A handful of low-rank spirits, bodies riddled with festering sores, crouch on the floor, gnawing at something. At the sound of my footsteps, they snap their heads around. Pale, dead eyes lock onto me. A shrill screech tears from their throats. I do not even bother drawing the sword. With nothing more than a thought, blue-gold blazeborn energy condenses at my fingertip. I point, almost casually. A blinding column of light tears through the entire corridor. The spirits do not even get the chance to struggle. They are reduced to drifting ash within the beam. This is what absolute power looks like. I walk out of the building, ash crunching under every step. In my last life, I lived worse than a stray dog, scraping through rubble each day for mold-covered scraps. In this life, I will be afraid of nothing. The scene on the streets is more wretched than any apocalypse film ever dared to show. Abandoned vehicles are engulfed in flames. The firelight catches the faces of people fleeing in blind panic. Countless grotesque creatures run free in the darkness, slaughtering without restraint. I walk through the chaos with cold indifference. The aura I carry is enough to keep every low-rank spirit from coming within 10 feet of me. My first objective is the large shopping center ahead, to collect supplies. Even with the power to move mountains, food and water remain the foundation of survival in a collapsing world. I have just reached the narrow alley running along the side of the mall, when the sounds of a struggle, sharp, urgent, and a woman's cry cut through the noise and catch my attention. I slow my pace and follow the sound. At the far end of the alley, two men have a young woman cornered. She is strikingly beautiful, the kind of face that seems untouched by the ordinary world. Behind her, a pair of wings unfurl, glowing faintly with white light. This must be an angel-type ability, extraordinarily rare, but her wings are badly torn. She has clearly been through a brutal fight already. The two men facing her, one has arms that have mutated into massive wolf claws, the other radiates a dark, noxious miasma from every inch of his body. The way they look at her is sickening. Pure, unfiltered greed. Stop fighting, pretty girl. Come with us and we'll make sure you live well in this new world. She bites down on her pale lips, eyes burning with defiance. Keep dreaming. I would rather die than give scum like you anything. The miasma man lets out a cold laugh and lunges forward to grab her, but just as the dark cloud of poison is about to reach her, the wall above them collapses. A massive eye creature, its body bristling with writhing tentacles, drops from above, sealing off the alley completely. The creature radiates overwhelming danger, and the two men instantly lose their nerve. They forget the woman entirely and spin around to run. I step out of the shadows and block their escape. Who are you? Get out of the way. We're Iron Lion Guild. Move. The claw-armed man glares at me with barely restrained hostility, trying to use the name to intimidate me. I look at them without expression, the way you might look at two ants you could crush without a second thought. In this world, nothing disgusts me more than people who use power to prey on the weak. I do not draw the sword. I simply release the faintest thread of Hongjun's supreme divine pressure. A terrifying force, ancient beyond reckoning, older than the world itself, descends in an instant. The two men are hit as if by an invisible sledgehammer, without even a chance to scream. Their bones shatter instantly. Both of them dissolve into twin clouds of crimson mist and disperse completely into the air. The enormous eye creature is crushed to pulp by the same pressure without a sound. The woman stares at the scene before her, utterly stunned. Thank you for saving my life. My name is Lyra Frost. I give her a brief, measured glance. My voice is flat. It was nothing. You're free to go. Lyra grabs the hem of my jacket. There is quiet desperation in her eyes. Please. The world right now. I won't survive it alone in this condition. Let me stay with you. I am about to refuse, but I stop myself. My knowledge of this world only goes so far. Having someone with current ground-level intelligence at my side could save a great deal of trouble. Fine, you can come, but you follow my lead on everything. Lyra nods quickly, relief flooding her eyes, the unmistakable look of someone who has just pulled back from the edge. As we search for supplies, Lyra gives me a thorough account of everything she knows. It turns out that awakened avatar abilities are classified into 5 clear tiers: common, rare, epic, legendary, and mythic. She looks at me with something close to reverence. The pressure you just released was at least legendary rank, possibly mythic or beyond. I smile inwardly. I fused 4 of the most supreme beings in existence into a single avatar. A rank like that is almost certainly broken clean through the ceiling of what this world was designed to contain. Lyra continues, the city has already been divided into several danger zones, each one dominated by an exceptionally powerful territorial spirit. These territorial spirits and the powerful awakened clans among humanity have formed a strange, uneasy balance. Humans do not dare venture into the spirit's core territory, and the spirits in turn do not casually attack the safe zones humanity has established. Lyra has barely finished explaining all this when the ground beneath us begins to shake with the violence of a magnitude 10 earthquake. Across the night sky in the distance, a massive black rift tears open without warning. A monstrous spirit thrusts more than half its enormous head through the gap. Its skull alone is the size of a small hill. In its hollow eye sockets burns an eerie green flame, and the temperature across the entire block drops to freezing in an instant. Lyra goes white and instinctively steps behind me. What rank is that thing? It feels worse than mythic. I narrow my eyes. My grip tightens around the golden dragon's sword. Just as I am about to probe what this creature is truly capable of, a burst of frantic footsteps and shouting erupts ahead. A fully armed squad of awakened fighters comes scrambling in from the other end of the street in full retreat. Leading them is a young man wreathed in crimson flames. Close beside him runs a tall, attractive woman. The moment I make out their faces, the killing intent in my eyes turns nearly solid. It is Marcus Vale, the school bully who killed me in my last life, and beside him, Serena Lowe, the woman who abandoned me the moment I had nothing to offer, of all people. Marcus clocks me almost immediately. He freezes for a beat, then bursts into a grating, mocking laugh. Well, if it isn't our school's famous good-for-nothing artist, Ethan Cole. Serena looks at me with the same contempt. Still alive, Ethan? Doesn't matter. You've clearly just been hiding somewhere, clinging on by a thread. Their squad members join in with mocking laughter, clearly placing me firmly at the very bottom of this broken world's food chain. Then Marcus's gaze slides past me to Lyra. His eyes light up with instant greed. Oh, look at that. Isn't that Lyra Frost, the prettiest girl in school? What's this, Ethan? A toad lusting after a swan? You actually managed to latch onto her? Serena takes in Lyra's striking features, and a flash of deep jealousy crosses her face. Lyra, you awakened an angel-type ability. You're talented. Why are you wasting your time with someone like him? Come with us. Marcus is an epic rank awakener. Sticking with him is how you survive this world. Lyra regards them with open contempt. Ethan is 10,000 times more powerful than either of you. You have absolutely no idea what you're standing in front of. Marcus reacts as if that is the funniest thing he has ever heard. He doubles over laughing. Him? An artist? What kind of garbage ability could he possibly have awakened? He dares compare himself to me, just as Marcus is gearing up to make his move and humiliate me properly. The massive spirit in the sky seems to fix its attention on our position, a pressure so terrifying, it makes every soul present tremble, crashes down from above. The spirit descends with the force of absolute annihilation, driving straight toward me. The aura hits like a physical weight. Every member of Marcus's squad goes paper white in an instant. Their proudly held abilities crumble to nothing before this absolute force. The flames around Marcus gutter out, his knees buckle, and he crashes heavily to the ground. Serena is shaking so badly, she cannot even stay on her feet. She collapses straight into a muddy puddle. The rest of the squad flatten themselves against the ground and close their eyes in despair. This spirit's power is at an appalling level. Its pale green gaze locks onto me. It opens a maw like an abyss, as if it intends to swallow the entire street whole. We're all going to die here. Ethan, you jinx. You're the one who drew this thing to us. I watch the enormous creature diving toward me, and I feel nothing. Not a ripple of fear. Something at this level throwing its weight around in front of me. I raise my head slowly. A vivid blaze of violet-black light erupts in my eyes. The annihilating will of Minghuang, demon sovereign. No technique, no move, I simply look at the spirit. Through my gaze alone, I release the Chaos Spear's lethal killing intent from deep within my soul. See, one look, that is all it takes. The colossal, untouchable spirit lets out a shriek of absolute agony. Its massive body, like snow meeting a raging fire, crumbles apart piece by piece in midair. It has no chance to resist. It dissolves into a scatter of black ash and fades into the night wind. The entire street falls into a silence like death. Everyone, including Lyra, stares at what just happened, unable to believe it. One look, nothing more than one look, and a spirit that had every single person here pinned to the ground is gone in an instant. Marcus's mouth falls open. His eyes look ready to leave his skull. He stares at me, shaking as if looking at something that should not exist. That's impossible. You are nothing. How can you possibly have power like this? Serena is equally dumbstruck. She had counted on Marcus to be her shield in this world. She never imagined that the ex-boyfriend she once looked down on so thoroughly would turn out to possess the power of a god. I do not spare either of them a glance. I turn and prepare to move on with Lyra, to seek out higher rank spirits to sharpen my abilities against. But just as I am about to leave, air raid sirens tear through the entire city. Countless surges of terrifying, malevolent energy erupt from every direction at once. The large-scale spirit assault has officially begun. The blood-red moonlight deepens, growing heavier, as if the sky itself is about to bleed. Across the skyline, hundreds upon hundreds of dark shapes appear. One among them radiates a suffocating demon god-rank pressure. Black lightning wraps its entire body, and every breath it draws shakes the ground below. The powerful clans across every district trigger their highest-level combat alerts. Flashes of awakened energy light up all across the city, but are swallowed quickly by the darkness. The demon god-rank spirit seems to have sensed the energy I released moments ago. Across several city blocks, it turns that destruction-hungry gaze directly onto me. The corner of my mouth pulls into a cold smile. The blaze-born blood surging through me begins to boil. Now this is a prey worth warming up against. I leave Marcus and Serena where they fell. I shoot upward like a bolt of golden light, driving straight into the demon god-rank spirit head-on. The entire sky is instantly split in two. Blue-gold flames on one side, black lightning on the other. My right fist clenches tight. Yuanjun's world-forging power fuses perfectly with Blazegor's battle instinct. A single, unremarkable straight punch smashes clean through the demon god spirit's protective lightning shell. A deafening sonic boom rolls across the entire city. The demon god spirit, capable of leveling an entire city block, is sent flying back hundreds of meters by a single punch. It roars with fury and launches a volley of razor-sharp bone spikes to pierce me through. I draw the golden dragon sword with unhurried calm. One strike. Hundreds of meters of golden sword energy slash through the night sky, accompanied by a soaring dragon's cry. It cleaves through half the demon god spirit's body. A clean, brutal cut. Black blood pours down like a violent rainstorm. The demon god spirit finally knows sphere. It tears a rift in space and flees without a backward glance. I stand suspended in the air, like a warlord who cannot be defeated. This battle shakes the entire city. Every clan that had been struggling to hold the line witnesses it firsthand. Before long, envoys from every major power converge on my position. Their manner is deeply deferential. They offer extraordinary terms, each one simply asking that I join their clan and lend it my protection. At the same time, Serena crawls and scrambles her way to my feet. She is weeping, a practiced, pitiable display. Clutching my leg with both hands, "Ethan, I was wrong. I was blind. Please give me one more chance. Can we start over?" I pull my leg away without a word. My eyes are without a trace of warmth. "Get away from me!" Serena collapses back to the ground at a single word. Sobbing beyond control, she does not try again. I survey the assembled clan envoys, every one of them convinced of their own superiority until very recently. They have spent this new world throwing their weight around, holding the lives of ordinary people in their hands, and now they stand around me fawning like trained dogs. The envoy of the Zhao clan, Masters of Dragon City's East District, steps forward first. He holds out a box filled to the brim with high-rank spirit cores, his face stretched into an ingratiating smile. "Mr. Cole, should you choose to join the Zhao clan, half of the East District's control is yours." The Chu clan representative from the West District is not about to be outdone. He shoves the Zhao envoy aside and steps forward. "The Chu clan wishes to name you our Grand Elder. Every resource our clan possesses is at your disposal." Lyra stands quietly behind me, watching these untouchable figures bow their heads. I do not look at any of their so-called treasures and rarities. "I have no interest in any of your clans. Do not bother me again." With that, I turn to leave the ruins with Lyra. The Zhao envoy's expression darkens immediately. He is a man accustomed to being above everyone else. No one has ever dismissed the Zhao clan like this. "Cole, do not choose the hard way. Just because you drove off one spirit does not mean you can walk through Dragon City as you please. The Zhao clan has 3 legendary rank elders. Make an enemy of us, and you will find no foothold anywhere in the city." I stop. I tilt my head just slightly. I give him one cold look. "Are you threatening me?" The Zhao envoy takes this for fear and immediately reassumes his imperious air. "I am stating facts. Back down now. Come with me to the Zhao clan, and I will be generous enough to put in a good word for you before our elders." He does not finish the sentence. With a single thought, an invisible force hits him squarely in the chest. He flies backward like a kite with its string cut, crashing hard into the shell of a ruined building. Every other envoy draws a sharp breath and stumbles back. I walk over to the Zhao envoy where he lies. I look down at him from above. "Go back and tell your so-called legendary elders, push me far enough, and I will not mind erasing the Zhao clan from this world entirely." No one around dares to breathe. They watch in silence as I walk away with Lyra without a backward glance. Over the following days, I move through the ruins of Dragon City with Lyra, hunting spirits without pause. With every battle, my command over the 4 divine powers within me grows more refined, more seamless. I discover that every time I defeat a high-rank spirit, I can absorb the residual energy it leaves behind. This energy feeds and nourishes the chaos sphere resting deep within my soul sea. With my help, Lyra's angel-type ability gradually recovers as well, eventually advancing to epic rank. Her healing powers and light-based techniques become a solid support in combat. But the calm does not last long. The Zhao clan clearly cannot swallow this humiliation. They begin circulating a bounty for me across the entire East District. They even put out a hard number, 10 high-rank spirit cores for anyone who provides my location. In a world starved of resources, 10 high-rank spirit cores are enough to drive people to extraordinary lengths. We have just finished clearing a nest of spirits from an abandoned hospital when the entire building begins to shake violently. The air around us is sucked dry in an instant. A suffocating presence envelops us. Just as we move to break out, a black barrier descends from the sky, sealing off the entire block completely. Beneath our feet, an enormous and profoundly ancient formation array begins to materialize. I frown slightly. I can feel the powerful suppression contained within it, steadily draining the energy of every living thing caught inside it. "This is the Zhao clan's 9 Abyss Soul Lock formation," Lyra says. "They say even legendary rank fighters caught in this will have their strength bled dry." Arrogant laughter rings in from outside the barrier. The Zhao Grand Elder steps into view at the formation's edge, flanked by dozens of the clan's elite fighters. He looks at me coldly, greed burning behind his eyes. "Cole, you are undeniably powerful, but you are arrogant beyond reason. This 9 Abyss Soul Lock formation was laid down by our clan's ancestors at immeasurable cost, a net from which there is no escape. You have no way out today. Hand over your power inheritance willingly, and I will show you mercy." I look at the smug faces of the Zhao clan around me. A cold contempt flickers through my eyes. "So this is how the great clans operate behind closed doors. Underhanded tactics." The Zhao Grand Elder lets out a cold laugh. "Winners write the rules. In this world, power is the only truth that lasts. Once you lose the ability to resist, I will take that angel-type girl of yours and put her to good use." I am done talking. The blaze-born bloodline within me ignites instantly. Brilliant blue-gold flames erupt upward like a volcanic explosion. The sheer force of the energy surge makes the formation beneath my feet groan and crack under the strain. The Zhao Grand Elder's face changes instantly. instantly. He frantically pours power into the formation in a desperate attempt to suppress me, but Yuanjun's creation light blazes to life across my body simultaneously. That world-forging force simply ignores the formation's restraints as if they were not there. I summon the golden dragon sword. Black lightning of annihilation coils along the blade. Break! I bring the sword down in one clean arc. A devastating wave of sword energy, carrying the cry of a dragon and the crack of thunder at once, tears through space itself. The formation that was said to be capable of imprisoning even legendary rank fighters shatters like wet paper. The black barrier shatters in an instant. The violent backlash sends the Zhan clan's elite warriors flying in all directions. The Grand Elder of the Zhan clan crashes hard to the ground, his eyes wide with disbelief and terror. Impossible! Just what level of existence are you? I walk toward him, one step at a time. The golden dragon blade in my hand radiates a deadly, ice-cold light. I warned you. Push me too far, and the Zhan clan ceases to exist. He stumbles backward in fear, desperately trying to fight back with his stellar ability, but I drive my foot into his core meridian and shatter it completely. He is finished. I decide to march straight to the Zhan clan's main stronghold and tear this threat out by the root. Lyra Frost stays close behind me, her eyes holding no fear, only absolute trust in me. We follow the trail of the Zhan clan's fleeing survivors all the way to the heart of the Eastern Ward. This place was once an extravagantly luxurious private estate. The Zhan clan had since converted it into an impenetrable fortress. The estate's perimeter bristles with stellar ability defense towers, but before my golden dragon blade, every one of those defenses means nothing. I tear through the estate's defensive line as if it were empty air. Those once arrogant Zhan clan guards can only tremble beneath my aura. I kick open the doors of the estate's main building. Inside, it is eerily silent. The hall stands completely empty, thick with a sinister, oppressive darkness. I follow that dark presence and find a hidden iron door leading underground. One strike of my blade splits it open. Before me stretches a massive underground plaza. At the center of the plaza, a deeply sinister black totem has been carved into the floor. At that moment, I see the patriarch of the Zhan clan standing at the totem's center. His body is forcibly merging with a terrifying epic rank wraith. Surrounded by a raging vortex of energy, he devours every trace of stellar energy in the surrounding area and makes it his own. The patriarch's form has twisted beyond recognition. Black armored scales cover his entire body, his frame swollen to several times its original size. In his hands, a grotesque massive blade condensed from pure dark energy. When the fusion is complete, he locks his crimson eyes onto me. Ethan Cole, you brought this on yourself. To destroy you, I forcibly absorbed the core essence of this wraith. I have now broken through the legendary rank ceiling, reaching the threshold of half-step mythic. I will make you pay. His voice grates like metal grinding on metal, drenched in boundless madness. He explodes off the ground, his massive body moving at impossible speed. The great blade screams through the air and comes crashing down at me. I let out a cold snort and charge straight at him without flinching. The primordial sovereign's golden battle armor materializes across my entire body, radiating supreme and absolute might. The great blade slams into my armor and bursts into blinding sparks, yet I do not budge an inch. The physical defense granted to me by the primordial sovereign is simply unbreakable. A flash of disbelief crosses the patriarch's eyes. He clearly never imagined that his full-powered strike would fail to break through. My turn. I channel every ounce of sacred flame warrior energy into my right fist. The air buckles under the pressure and erupts with a thunderous sonic boom. I drive my fist hard into his defensive shield. A sharp crack rings out and his ironclad shield shatters from the pure force of my blow. He lets out a howl of pain, his massive frame reeling backward. I give him no time to recover. I summon the void spear from the depths of my soul realm. A dark violet light dances at the spear's tip. This divine weapon, forged from the will of absolute destruction, is perfectly suited for a half-human, half-wraith abomination like him. I vanish and reappear directly above him. The void spear becomes a bolt of black lightning and drives straight through his energy core. The dark violet force of destruction detonates inside him instantly. The lingering consciousness of the epic rank wraith within him lets out one desperate wail before it is purged completely. The patriarch's enormous body deflates like a punctured balloon, all power draining from him as he collapses lifelessly to the ground. The Zhan clan, undisputed rulers of the Eastern Ward, meets its end at my hands. I put away the void spear and settle the surging energy inside me. Just as I prepare to raid the Zhan clan's treasury with Lyra Frost, a clear, steady sound of applause rises from the shadows of the underground plaza. A mysterious figure in a golden cloak steps slowly into view. His presence runs even deeper and more unreadable than the monster I just destroyed. The Nexus envoy shows no hostility. Instead, he studies me with obvious interest. Magnificent. Truly magnificent. To think that a rule-breaking existence like you could emerge in a backwater like Draven City. I tighten my grip on the golden dragon blade and fix him with a cold stare. And who are you? The Nexus envoy smiles slightly and pulls back his hood, revealing a face of striking, almost unearthly beauty. On his forehead, a faint golden mark pulses with energy that is both sacred and deeply unsettling. You may call me the Nexus envoy. I come from the core region beyond this city. What you people call the Nexus. The Nexus? This is the first time I have ever heard that word. In my previous life, I died too soon. The highest level I had encountered back then was an awakened on the level of Marcus Vale. The Nexus envoy seems to read my confusion and continues. The calamity that struck this world is far more complex than you imagine. The descent of the Blood Moon was no accident. It was the reshaping of a higher dimensional law. A group like the Zhang clan, no matter how much they struggle, never sees beyond the bottom of the well. But you are different. The power you have displayed has drawn the attention of the Nexus. I am here to invite you to a trial befitting the truly strong. I look at him with indifference, not a trace of excitement at being recruited. I trust nothing but the blade in my hand. Your trial doesn't interest me. The Nexus envoy is not offended. His smile only grows more inscrutable. You will be, because this trial concerns the true origin of the Blood Moon's descent. Furthermore, the girl beside you, the one with the celestial wing ability, is one of the key elements required to unlock the final relic. At those words, Lyra Frost takes an anxious step back, her expression shifting. I furrow my brow slightly and step in front of Lyra. As long as I'm here, no one touches her. The Nexus envoy shakes his head. His body dissolves into golden specks of light and fades into the air, leaving only a voice that echoes through the underground plaza. Ethan Cole, we will meet again. When the ultimate crisis arrives, you will come to the Nexus seeking answers. I stare at the spot where he vanished, lost briefly in thought. It seems this apocalyptic world runs far deeper than I imagined. But whatever nameless forces may lurk out there, anyone who dares stand in my way will be crushed by these two fists. I turn to Lyra Frost. She is frightened, but her fists remain clenched. Don't be afraid. I will make you stronger than anyone. I lead Lyra Frost and push open the heavy doors of the Zhang clan's underground vault. With a teeth-grinding screech of metal, the interior of the vault comes into view. There is no mountain of gold and jewels as I might have expected. In this apocalyptic world, the paper currency and metals of the old era lost their worth long ago. In their place stand rows of specialized crystal display cases, each filled with high-grade spirit cores glowing in every color imaginable. These represent years of plunder, ripped from countless wraiths and awakened alike by the Zhang clan. Lyra Frost stares at the spirit cores and covers her mouth in astonishment. She has clearly never seen cultivation resources on this scale. I simply scan the room with cold indifference. These ordinary high-grade spirit cores would barely make a dent given my current level. My gaze settles on a solitary stone platform at the very back of the vault. Hovering above it is a tattered parchment scroll, radiating an eerie red glow. The air around it shimmers and warps as if space itself bends under the scroll's influence. I stride forward, ignoring the defensive seals arranged around the platform. The primordial sovereign's physical power lets me pass straight through a barrier strong enough to destroy an epic rank awakened. The moment my hand closes around the scroll, a torrent of information floods into my mind. It is a map, pointing deep into the endless wilderness beyond Draven City. The map's destination is marked with a glaring blood-red skull. Beside it, written in an ancient script, are the words, "The Sacred Burial Forbidden Zone." The corner of my mouth curves into a hungry smile. This is exactly the kind of hunting ground I need. Staying in Draven City to slaughter low-level clans and ordinary wraiths can no longer push me forward. Only a forbidden zone bold enough to bury gods themselves can produce prey worth my time. Just as I tuck the scroll away and prepare to leave the vault with Lyra Frost, the entire underground space shudders violently, and the rock layers above the vault begin to cave in across a massive area. Just as we are about to step through the vault's exit, the empty space at the center of the vault suddenly tears open into a massive black rift. A void rift wraith, its body covered in jagged white bone spikes, thrusts its head through. This void rift wraith radiates an aura that is ancient and savage in equal measure. Soul fire burns in its hollow eye sockets with an eerie blue glow. Its massive bone claws tear straight through the vault's steel walls. It seems to have sensed the scroll's presence and crossed through space to claim it. Lyra Frost instinctively releases her celestial wings. Their sacred radiance forms a barrier before her, but under the terrible crushing force of the void rift wraith's aura, her light flickers on the verge of collapse. I let out a cold snort and pull Lyra behind me. Since you've delivered yourself to my doorstep, you'll do nicely as a warm-up before I reach the forbidden zone. I don't reach for the golden dragon blade. Instead, I simply close my right fist. The sacred flame warrior's golden blue energy instantly floods the entire underground vault with blazing light. I explode upward with both legs, launching myself into the air as a streak of golden light. The void rift wraith opens its fang-lined abyss of a mouth, lunging to swallow me whole. I channel the primordial sovereign's world-forging power into a single punch and slam it into the wraith's bone jaw. A thunderous crack rings out. Those supposedly indestructible void bones splinter and shatter under my fist. The wraith lets out a piercing shriek. Its massive body is hammered back into the spatial rift by sheer force. I give it no chance to flee. My hands slam together, condensing a stellar energy blast at my chest that pulses with annihilating force. Be reduced to nothing. A massive pillar of blue light pierces through the spatial rift in an instant. From deep within the rift comes a muffled explosion, followed by absolute silence. I pull back my energy and watch the spatial rift slowly seal itself. That was nothing but a guard dog that wandered out of the sacred burial forbidden zone. I turn to Lyra Frost. Get ready. We're leaving Draven City. Lyra Frost does not hesitate for a single moment. She nods firmly. As long as I can stay by your side, I'll follow you anywhere. We leave the Zhang clan's estate, now reduced to rubble, behind us. I pay no attention to the probing, awe-filled stares from Draven City's other clans and lead Lyra Frost straight onto the road toward the sacred burial forbidden zone. Beyond the city's safe zone, the wasteland beyond is a far more harrowing sight. Vast black forests breathe out the stench of decay. Mutated birds circle in great flocks overhead, their crimson eyes fixed on us as intruders. But every time they try to to approach, the draconic sovereign's aura I radiate shatters their organs before they get close. We press through the wilderness for 3 full days. The high-level mutants and wandering wraiths that fall by my hand are too many to count. With each kill, the void spear in my soul realm grows darker and more profound. Finally, at dusk on the 4th day, we reach the edge of a canyon shrouded in thick, blood-red mist. The gravity here is more than 10 times that of the outside world. Every rock around us glows an unsettling dark red. The marking on the map confirms it. This is the entrance to the sacred burial forbidden zone. The moment we step into the heart of the canyon, the dark red earth beneath us collapses across a vast area. An ancient underground battlefield of unfathomable depth opens before us. An ancient dragon of sky-blotting size stirs from its slumber and releases a roar that splits the heavens. The ancient dragon's frame is so immense, it nearly fills the entire ceiling of the underground cavern. Every single bone on its body is carved with ancient malevolent curse runes. As it awakens, all the blood-red mist throughout the sacred burial forbidden zone converges on it. The crushing oppressive force it exudes is several times more powerful than any wraith I have faced before. Under this overwhelming pressure, Lyra Frost's face drains of all color. Even drawing breath becomes a struggle. I immediately channel a strand of sacred flame warrior energy and wrap it around her, cutting her off from the ancient dragon's crushing aura. This beast was without a doubt a mythic rank existence when it lived. Even reduced to a skeleton, it still carries terrifyingly powerful combat instincts. Its eyes, burning with blood-red flames, fix on us with absolute focus. As if furious, the 2 insignificant creatures dared disturb its rest. Its massive bone tail sweeps toward us like a pillar tearing across the sky. The air shrieks with a sonic boom under the force of the strike. I push Lyra Frost into a safe corner and feel not a trace of fear, only blazing ferocious battle hunger. Perfect timing. Let me test my full power after the fusion. On you. Golden dragon horns burst from my forehead in an instant. Magnificent ironclad golden dragon scales spread across my entire body. I don't dodge. I charge straight into that enormous bone tail. I thrust out both hands and unleash the supreme, world-creating might of the primordial sovereign. I catch the sweeping bone tail bare-handed, a strike powerful enough to pulverize an entire mountain range. The massive recoil force instantly collapses the ground beneath my feet into a deep crater, yet I stand as if rooted to the earth, not a single step back. The ancient dragon seems genuinely unprepared for a human who can match it in raw power. It lets out a furious screech, tears its jaws open, and unleashes a torrent of world-destroying black dragon breath. I let out a cold laugh. The abyssal dragon bloodline within me erupts fully, and a draconic aura, purer and more supreme than the ancient dragon's own, blasts skyward. My right hand reaches into empty air. The golden dragon blade, radiating absolute sovereign might, materializes in an instant. Before this divine sword, the symbol of the ancestor of all dragons, even the ancient dragon shudders involuntarily. The black dragon breath it was so proud of meets the golden dragon blade's sword aura, and dissolves instantly, like snow under sunlight. I vanish and reappear as a bolt of golden lightning, tearing straight through the dragon breath and launching skyward. The golden dragon blade in my hand blazes with blinding light. Fall! I bring the blade down. The world-splitting sword aura buries itself into the ancient dragon's skull. That supposedly indestructible skull is sliced cleanly in two, like soft clay. The blood-red flames in the ancient dragon's eye sockets flare and sputter violently, then go out for good. Its colossal body loses all power and crashes down with a thunderous collapse, slamming into the underground battlefield and throwing up a vast storm of dust. I land calmly on the ancient dragon's remains, and use the tip of my blade to pry out a fist-sized core, dense with death energy and draconic might. The energy contained in this core is enough to push my physical body to another level. I pocket the core, and lay Lyra Frost deeper toward the far end of the underground battlefield. We pass through countless shattered ancient weapons and enormous skeletal remains, and at the edge of the battlefield, we find an ancient altar. A sphere of soft white light hovers at the altar's center. The pure luminous energy within it resonates powerfully with Lyra Frost's celestial wing ability. Lyra Frost stares at the sphere with barely contained excitement. I can feel it. If I absorb that sphere, my ability will break through to legendary rank. I nod, and gesture for her to go ahead and absorb it. Just as Lyra Frost steps onto the altar stairway and reaches for the sphere, the sky tears open with a massive golden rift. Several figures clad in silver armor, their auras deep and unfathomable, descend from the Nexus and surround us completely. Every one of these silver-armored Nexus adjudicators radiates an air of supreme arrogance. Their chief adjudicator grips a greatsword wreathed in holy flames and looks down on us with cold contempt. The golden insignia on his chest blazes with sharp light, embodying the absolute authority of the Nexus. You, the girl with the celestial wing ability, stop absorbing that sphere immediately and come with us to the Nexus to face judgment. As for you, you lowly wasteland mutant, kneel at once and surrender the dragon core you just obtained. I look at these self-important fools as one would look at an idiot and let a cold, merciless smile cross my face. In this apocalyptic world where strength is everything, someone actually dares to tell me to kneel. Lyra Frost stands on the altar, watching me with some concern, but her gaze remains resolute. I wave my hand and signal for her to keep absorbing the sphere. Don't worry about these small fry. The chief adjudicator watches me ignore his orders entirely and erupts with fury. Arrogant insect, you dare defy the will of the Nexus? You're throwing your life away. The adjudicators behind him instantly become streaks of silver lightning, launching toward me to kill. Blazing light swords form in their hands as they move to cut me apart. I don't even summon the golden dragon blade. I simply raise my my right hand. The sacred flame warrior's raging energy gathers in my palm, compressing into a densely packed energy sphere. With a casual flick of my wrist, I send it flying at the adjudicators with world-ending force, with a world-shaking blast. Those so-called elite warriors of the Nexus don't even manage a scream before they are vaporized on the spot. The shockwave hurls the debris of the entire underground battlefield into the air. The arrogance on the chief adjudicator's face freezes solid. What replaces it is undisguised terror. Impossible. You are nothing but a low-level awakened from the outer regions. How can you have this kind of power? I walk toward him through the air, step by deliberate step. With each step I take, the primordial sovereign's aura pressing down on him grows heavier. Your so-called absolute authority means absolutely nothing before absolute power. I bring two fingers together and release a golden sword aura that drives straight through his chest. The chief adjudicator's eyes go wide. His body goes limp and drops from the air, crashing hard to the ground. The silver armor he was so proud of crumbles before my sword aura like it was made of paper. At that moment, Lyra Frost completes her transformation on the altar. The wings on her back grow from 2 pairs to 4, radiating a dazzling and magnificent sacred brilliance. She has broken through to legendary rank and is already brushing against the threshold of mythic. She flies to my side, overcome with joy. She is just about to speak when the ancient altar beneath her suddenly collapses without warning. A massive black void vortex forms in an instant and drags us both violently into an unknown space deep within the forbidden zone. The space around us warps violently. The crushing sensation of weightlessness makes me furrow my brow slightly, but I don't panic. I release the abyssal dragon's golden protective shield and keep Lyra Frost secured at my side. When the weightlessness fades, we crash down onto a cold, hard black plaza. There is no sky here, only endless darkness and eerie stone pillars towering into the void on all sides. The air reeks of death so intensely it is 100 times more oppressive than the ancient dragon. At the very center of the plaza stands an enormous throne, built from countless human skulls. On the throne sits a figure shrouded entirely in black robes. Slowly, he raises his head, to reveal a face that is half angel, half demon, a grotesque sight straight out of legend. This is a fallen god, a being banished from the heavens since time immemorial. His blood-red demon eye locks onto Lyra Frost, his tongue moving across his lips with vile hunger. Such pure light essence, devour you, and I break this cursed seal and return to the world above. The fallen god surges to his feet. A terrifying aura capable of crushing the heavens themselves sweeps across the entire plaza in an instant. Lyra Frost's freshly broken through legendary rank aura is crushed flat under the divine pressure. The radiance of her 4 pairs of luminous wings dims to almost nothing. Even standing upright becomes a struggle for her. I let out a cold snort and step directly in front of Lyra Frost, absorbing the full force of the divine pressure. If you want to touch her, you had better ask my blade first. I summoned the golden dragon blade behind my back. The blade instantly wreathed in the infernal emperor's dark violet lightning of destruction. Ignorant human, do you truly believe that mastering a few high-level abilities makes you a match for a real god? He slams his fallen black wings outward. A storm of black feathers, each as deadly as a spear, rains down on me from every angle. Every feather carries enough force to pierce straight through a legendary rank awakened. I do not retreat. The sacred flame warrior bloodline inside me boils to its absolute peak. Gold and blue energy erupts skyward like a volcanic explosion, and forms a layer of absolute defense across my body. The black feathers slam into my energy barrier in a rapid-fire series of explosions, yet they cannot harm me in the slightest. I drive off hard with my right leg, and vanish, reappearing directly above the fallen god in a flash of light. On your knees! I bring my foot down on his skull, driving the full world-forging power of the primordial sovereign into the blow. The fallen god's expression collapses in shock. He barely manages to raise his massive black scythe to block. With an ear-splitting crack of shattering metal, his supposedly indestructible divine-grade scythe is snapped in half by my kick. The tremendous force surges up through his arms and throughout his body, driving him deep into the rock layers below. The entire plaza shudders violently as countless towering stone pillars crash to the ground. I look down from above at the so-called god dragging himself out of the rubble, battered and broken. Is this the divine power you were so proud of? Pathetically weak. Just as I tighten my grip on the golden dragon blade and prepare to take this fallen god's head, countless crimson blood-red tentacles shoot from the darkness behind me and coil tightly around my wrists. A familiar figure steps slowly from the shadows, one I never expected to see here. The figure is covered in tumorous growths and bone spikes, all human form long since lost, yet I can still recognize him through those twisted, distorted features. It is Zhak Wei, an ordinary friend from my previous life, who I believed had died in the early days of the calamity. Before the calamity struck, I had specifically sent him a message warning him to stay in his room and not go out. I never imagined he had not only survived, but transformed into this nauseating creature. Zhak Wei's bloodshot eyes bore into me with raw, venomous hatred. His voice is hoarse and harrowing. Ethan Cole, you selfish piece of filth. You knew the calamity was coming. Why didn't you come and save me sooner? You had all this power and you just watched while those monsters devoured and fused with me. I became this wretched thing, neither man nor monster, and all of it is your fault. I look at him with a blank expression, not a shred of pity in my eyes, only infinite coldness. I gave you a warning. Your weakness is your own failure. In this world, being weak is its own sin. You have no right to bark at me. Zhak Wei roars in fury. The crimson tentacles covering his body swell to several times their size. He begins frantically devouring the residual power of the fallen god that lingers in the surroundings. The fallen god, already gravely wounded by my hand, lets out one final wail of despair as Zhak Wei's grotesque mutant form forcibly devours his core essence. Zhak Wei's aura surges wildly out of control, crashing straight through the legendary rank ceiling and reaching a terrifying uncharted level. Ethan Cole, today I will tear you into pieces and make you feel every bit of the suffering I went through. He whips hundreds of thick crimson tentacles at me from every direction, closing in to crush and tear me apart. Every tentacle bristles with razor-edged barbs and reeks of putrid decay. I watch this creature lost to madness with cold detachment and shake my head. If living is truly such suffering for you, then I'll do you a mercy. I'll end it for good. I close my eyes. The void spear deep in my soul realm hums with eager resonance. The next instant, a spear wreathed from tip to base in black lightning appears in my hand. This is the first time I have fully summoned it into the real world. This supreme divine weapon capable of killing even the highest of existences. The moment the void spear appears, the darkness of the entire space seems to be consumed by its absolute will of destruction. I flick my wrist, and the void spear erupts into countless streaks of black lightning that meet the wave of tentacles head-on. There is no earth-shattering explosion, only the soft muted sound of a blade slicing through dry leaves. Zhak Wei's supposedly indestructible mutant tentacles are laughably fragile before the void spear. They are sliced into countless fragments in an instant and reduced to ash on the ground. Zhak Wei lets out a piercing scream. His massive mutant body staggers backward frantically, desperate to flee. I give him no such chance. I vanish and reappear directly in front of him, the void spear in my hand. Drives without mercy straight through his pulsing mutant core. The dark violet force of destruction detonates instantly, annihilating every last trace of life within him. He stares at me with wide, fixed eyes. The venom in his gaze fades at last into a hollow emptiness. Consumed by the void spear, his body dissolves into a pool of black ash and vanishes from this world entirely. In this world, show mercy to no one, or you will be the one who dies. Lyra Frost nods, pale-faced, and stays close behind me. I absorb the vast core energy released by the deaths of the fallen god and Zhak Wei. The four divine powers within me grow more harmonious than ever. I can feel it. I am only one step away from breaking the very rules of this world. Just as I prepare to find a way out of this underground space with Lyra Frost, the endless darkness above us is suddenly torn apart by a force of absolute terror. A colossal hand formed entirely of brilliant stars reaches through the rift and descends upon the entire forbidden zone with unstoppable crushing force. Under the overwhelming pressure of what feels like an attack from a higher dimension, the entire underground space begins to collapse at a terrifying rate. Even though Lyra Frost has already broken through to legendary rank, the pressure forces her back step after step. She looks up in desperation at the stellar hand that all but blots out the entire ceiling. This power doesn't belong to this planet at all. We have to run. Run? That word does not exist in my vocabulary. I tilt my head up and fix my gaze on that slowly descending hand, my eyes blazing with battle-hungry fervor. In my previous life, I was as lowly as dust. Even a scrap of bread could cost me my life. Given a second chance, having fused with four supreme existences, I am destined to crush every rule underfoot. I will not run. I will devour this power entirely and turn it into fuel for my breakthrough. I let out a great roar and push every one of the four divine powers within me to their absolute limit. The primordial sovereign's world-forging body blazes with brilliant golden divine radiance, banishing the surrounding darkness entirely. The flame god's supreme sacred flame warrior instinct causes my energy to surge dozens of times over in an instant. The abyssal dragon's draconic might takes physical form as a golden dragon silhouette, coiling and roaring around me. The infernal emperor's will of destruction pours entirely into the void spear in my right hand. I bend my knees slightly and then explode upward. The black plaza beneath my feet instantly crazes into an abyss. I become a streak of light tearing skyward, aimed straight at the stellar hand. A continuous thunder roars in my ears, the sound of space itself fracturing under my speed. I grip the void spear with both hands and merge every power within me into one. Shatter! I drive the spear straight into the center of the stellar hand's palm. Two world-destroying forces collide in midair with a cataclysmic impact, releasing light a million times brighter than the sun. The stellar hand lets out a deep, resonant rumble and attempts to grind me into dust with absolute force. But the primordial sovereign's bloodline within me unleashes a world-splitting roar at this very moment. Under the crushing force, my body does not break. Instead, it begins hungrily devouring the stellar energy from the hand. Streams of brilliant starlight flow through the void spear and pour ceaselessly into every part of my body. Every cell within me greedily devours this pure energy from a higher dimension. A faint crack and a hairline fracture appears at the center of the stellar hand's palm, then spreads rapidly like a spider's web. The higher dimensional existence behind the hand clearly senses something is wrong and attempts to sever the energy link. Too late. A mad, cold smile curves my lips. The absorption rate within me instantly spikes to its absolute limit. With a world-shattering blast, the once unstoppable stellar hand explodes completely. Starlight cascades down from all directions like a waterfall, enveloping me entirely within its radiance. I close my eyes within that boundless cascade of starlight and feel the earth-shattering transformation taking place within me. The four divine powers that had always been distinct from one another at last merge into perfect unity, harmonized by the stellar energy. My cultivation level surges forward irresistibly, shattering the shackles of mythic rank and stepping into an entirely new realm that has never existed before. The instant my eyes open, two beams of solid golden light shoot from my eyes and pierce straight through the ceiling of the forbidden zone above. Right now, I feel as though a single breath would be enough to erase Draven City from the map entirely.